Throughout Africa's history, there have been extraordinary women who stood up, spoke out, and fought for the rights of their people. Women whose courage helped shape nations. Yet, for some reasons, many of their stories remain untold and unknown. Today, we shine a light on these historic African women who fought, who led, and who changed the course of history.
Queen Amina, a 16th century warrior queen of Zazzau, modern-day Zaria, Nigeria. She expanded her kingdom through military strength and strategic trade development. Queen Nzinga, a 17th century ruler of Ndongo and Matamba, present-day Angola. She resisted Portuguese colonization for over 4 decades through diplomacy, military strategy, and political alliances. Queen Nani, born in present-day Ghana and later a leader of the Windward Maroons in Jamaica, she led resistance efforts against British forces and secured land and autonomy for her people. Ya Asantewa, the Queen Mother of Ejisu in Ghana, she led the 1900 War of the Golden Stool against British colonial rule, becoming a lasting symbol of courage and resistance. Fumilayo Ransome Kuti, a Nigerian feminist, educator, and anti-colonial activist, she founded the Nigerian Women's Union and organized protests against unfair taxation and colonial policies. Margaret Ekpo, a Nigerian politician and activist who mobilized women into politics during a male-dominated era, strengthening women's representation in governance. Giselle Rabeshala, Madagascar's first female municipal councillor and later minister, she advocated for independence, human rights, and political participation. Miriam Makeba, known as Mama Africa, she used her music to fight apartheid and advocate for Pan-African unity, becoming a global voice against injustice. Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, Africa's first elected female head of state, she led Liberia's post-war recovery and won the Nobel Peace Prize for her work in peace building. Wangari Maathai, a Kenyan environmentalist and Nobel laureate who founded the Green Belt movement, empowering women through environmental conservation. Khadija Bala, a Sierra Leonean-born activist and FGM survivor who founded No FGM Australia and advocates globally for women's health and rights. Leima Gbowi, a Liberian peace activist who united Christian and Muslim women in a non-violent movement that helped end Liberia's civil war. Lillian Ngoyi, a South African anti-apartheid leader who spearheaded the 1956 Women's March and became the first woman elected to the ANC Executive Committee. Ladi Alexandria Shehu, a Nigerian educator, journalist, and political advocate who championed girls' education and women's voting rights in northern Nigeria. Tanimomo Ogunlesi, an educationist and co-founder of the National Council of Women's Societies, who strengthened women's political participation in Nigeria. Elizabeth Adekogbe, a Nigerian nationalist and journalist who advocated for systemic reforms and challenged discriminatory laws against women. Laila Dogonyaro, overcoming child marriage, she became a leading advocate for women's political inclusion and education in northern Nigeria. Aduni Adewole, a fearless activist who fought colonial economic oppression and founded the Nigerian Commoners Party to defend the rights of ordinary Nigerians. Nkechi Nwankwo, a journalist and researcher who used data and writing to expose gender inequality in Nigerian politics and promote inclusive leadership. Felicia Adeyoyin, author of Loyalty to the Nation, the work that inspired Nigeria's national pledge, uniting generations of Nigerians. Oyinkansola Ayobami, a pioneer of girls' education and co-founder of the Nigerian Women's Party, who linked education with women's political empowerment. Lady Kofoworola Ademola, the first black African woman to earn a degree from Oxford and later a major advocate for women's education and welfare. Bene Madunagu, a feminist scholar and activist who co-founded Women in Nigeria and the Girls' Power Initiative to empower girls and push for gender equality. Madame Nwanyerua, her protest against colonial taxation sparked the 1929 Women's War, mobilizing thousands of women to fight injustice. Virginia Etiaba, Nigeria's first female governor who led Anambra State in 2006 and became a milestone figure for women in politics. Wuraola Esong, an educator and one of the first female senators in Nigeria who worked to expand girls' education and women's leadership. Balaraba Ramat Yakubu, a Hausa novelist who used her writing to challenge child marriage and advocate for girls' education. Elizabeth Olowu, Nigeria's first female bronze caster who broke cultural barriers and used art to highlight women's experiences. Dadasare Abdullahi, a pioneering journalist who overcame colonial exploitation and used media and education to advocate for women. Franca Afegbua, the first woman elected to the Nigerian Senate in 1983 after winning a strong grassroots campaign. Janet Akinriade, a self-taught leader who became the only woman elected to the 1977 Constituent Assembly and later served as Minister of State. Aderonke Kale, the first Nigerian woman to become a Major General in the Army and a leader in military medical services. Muthoni Likimani, a Kenyan journalist and author who used literature and media to amplify the voices of African women. Tsitsi Dangarengba, a Zimbabwean writer and filmmaker whose work challenges gender inequality and social injustice. Aicha Machi, a Nigerian filmmaker who uses documentaries to highlight women's struggles and break social taboos. Muthoni Kirima, a Mau Mau field marshal who played a major leadership role in Kenya's fight for independence. Hatshepsut, one of ancient Egypt's most successful rulers who declared herself pharaoh and expanded trade and national development. Elizabeth Abimbola Awoliyi, a pioneering Nigerian doctor who advanced maternal health care and women's welfare. Agnes Yewande Savage, the first West African woman to qualify as a medical doctor and a leader in nursing education and infant welfare. Adetong Ogunsheye, Nigeria's first female professor and a major advocate for educational development. Justice Dolapo Akinsonya, a courageous judge who upheld the rule of law during Nigeria's 1993 political crisis.
As we celebrate these historic African women leaders, we are reminded that the fight for equality, justice, and opportunity did not start today. These women paved the way, and because of their courage, generations of women can dream bigger, speak louder, and lead boldly. Their stories are not just history, they are a call to action. For every woman today, happy International Women's Day.